We begin tonight with the police hunt for the two young women who pulled a 65-year-old Auckland woman out of her car and violently assaulted her. At a media conference this afternoon, Detective Sergeant Paul Newman described the assault.
The assault itself was an act of gratuitous and extreme and unnecessary violence, and we are determined to locate the people responsible and bring them to justice. I'm not going to comment on anything around the motivation of the attack because we don't know at this stage. All I can say is that the victim was a very vulnerable member of our community, which makes the attack even more upsetting and gratuitous, really.
Detective Senior Sergeant Paul Newman, an act of gratuitous, extreme and unnecessary violence. This afternoon, the victim's son took me to meet his mother at Auckland Hospital. He wanted me to see her, to see how small she is, how physically fragile and how injured she has been. Nancy, or Moi, Voon, is obviously bruised in multiple places. She has a broken nose, a large black eye, she was concussed, and she is in a state of obvious distress. After we left the hospital, her son, Chee Yen Pua, told me what had happened.
What happened was quite brutal and quite random. She was basically attacked at about 11:30 a.m. Outside a car park. So you've got the car park and the main road, and the offenders just came out of nowhere, dragged her out of the car, and then took her items, her bag and her keys, and started bashing her. You know, if you want something, just take it, you know, so why do you have to, you know, harm someone that's done nothing wrong?
Yes, I sense from you and your sister and from, you know, the way your mum was looking, that's the thing you simply don't understand, that stealing her things is one thing, but assaulting her afterwards just defies any kind of understanding, doesn't it?
Yeah, like why, you know? Our question is why. You didn't have to do it, you know, get what you want and just bugger off, you know? It's a car, you know, it's a handbag, you know, but why? You know, that's why we want this, you know, to be out in the public, you know, so one, they can be caught, and two, we can stop this from happening. Yeah.
And you talk about what you know about what happened. There is also CTV footage, some of which has been released and some of which hasn't been released because it's so distressing, we're told. What do you know about this?
I know that parts of the footage was released so that people could see or get an idea of the offenders and the vehicle that they were in. But the part where the attack occurred, I was told that it was very violent and very brutal. So, yeah, and I don't even want to, you know, think about it or even take a look at it, you know. It would just be awful, awful, awful.
When we were talking before, you described New Zealand as a wonderful place to live.
Yeah.
You came here as a 6-year-old, right?
Yeah.
And Carmen, I think your older sister was a teenager, 17 or 18 or something. And your mum and dad came here for a better life, better education, all of those things that immigrants seek out new countries for.
Yeah.
Has this completely shattered that sense of New Zealand, or do you still hold tight to a better sense of the place?
I mean, I'm still proud, you know, to call this, you know, home. You know, I love New Zealand, I love Auckland, and I always rave about, you know, living here. It's such a great place. But over the years, I think crimes have sort of gone out of control.
What would you like to say to the people who did this?
Why, you know, why hurt someone who's done nothing wrong, who hasn't, you know, who's harmless? My mum is a person that would feed the homeless. You know, she wouldn't hurt a fly, and yet you were able to do this. It just made me feel sick, you know. It's disgusting. So, you know, hopefully the police, and with the help of the community, we will find you and hold you accountable. Yeah.
It's Chee Yen Pua, who is Nancy or Moy Voon's son.